Back now to the crisis in Egypt. President Hosni Mubarak has come out tonight offering to form a new government. This as violent pro-democracy protests continue. I asked Middle East expert Akeel Hanano about the impact of the protest on Egypt and the greater Middle East. Mr. Hanano, the U.S. has really largely been watching what's been going on, not only in Egypt but Tunisia as well. What do you think our role is in these demonstrations and this growing movement in the Middle East?
Well, I think our role should be supporting the freedom and the choice of the people before it's too late. We were shortcoming on Tunisia, and it seems to me the administration also got surprised with Egypt. After Egypt, I'm expecting it's going to be Yemen, and then you're going to have Algeria is ready. So this is a movement which has been unleashed, and I don't think anybody can control it. People are yearning for freedom, and that's what they want, and they're not going to take anything less than that.
You mentioned Yemen and Algeria. You say that we have reached a boiling point where people who live in the Middle East are getting sick and tired of so-called elected governments who turn corrupt and then inevitably wind up neglecting the people who put them there in the first place.
Well, actually, the people of the Middle East never said about their government it's elected government because they know they never participated in it. This is the American administration. Every time they try to boost somebody's position, they say he is an elected democratic president, which is not. President of Egypt's been in power for the last 34 years, the longest serving president in the world.
Do you think that the U.S. is more interested in stability in the Middle East, in places like Egypt, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia, over the true democratic process?
Absolutely, without no doubt. I mean, look what we did in Iraq. Supposedly we went there to take a tyrant out. We founded several tyrants now. Divided the country, and there is no election, there is no democracy, even though there is a fake election. People came out with ink on their finger claiming they have voted.
Wait a second, let me stop you there. The intentions were there on the part of the U.S. to stoke democracy in Iraq and get that process started. It doesn't happen overnight.
I disagree with you. You cannot impose democracy with the power of the gun. I mean, democracy is a process.
Well, how do you think democracy took hold in the U.S.?
And until the late, I think, in the early 1900s, the white American woman did not have the right to vote. It's a process taking 200 and some years, and we are still developing more and more of that democracy.
But that's my point. It is a process, isn't it? I mean, these processes have to get started. I get it, and I want to move on. The demonstrations that are happening right now in Egypt, these people aren't extremists, are they, by any stretch?
No, they are not extremists. They are the people of Egypt, from different class of people. There is the educated, there is the uneducated, there is the professional and the non-professional. They are just sick and tired of the dictatorship, of the corruption, of the theft of their resources, while they have nothing.
What is happening in the Middle East right now? Because there are several trigger points, aren't there? I mean, on the one hand, we have these protests. On another hand, we have the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And on the other hand, we have Iran and Iraq. So what is going to be the tipping point?
Well, the tipping point is this. People sick and tired of promises. They only get promises. There is nothing materialized on the ground. They're still poor, they still have no hope, they still have no education, they still have no job, and they have nothing to look forward for. And that's why they said enough is enough.
Well, give me the positive here, and what could be a positive outcome to all this? Is there any ray of light here?
Well, it's very positive what's going on right now. I don't see it anything but positive what's happening in Tunisia and in Egypt, and I hope to God the role is going to keep going until we change all those dictators over there, and then we improve our life.
Akeel Hanano, just tremendous insight tonight about what's happening in Egypt, Middle East expert. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Egypt has been one of the United States' closest allies since President Anwar Sadat made peace with Israel in 1979 after talks at Camp David.